there, I'm Tracy Kryling, and welcome to So Fun February of 2022. We are still doing our taping, but we are going to be in person this week. But you'll know that because you'll have already been in person by the time you see this online. So let's just get started. We're going to start today with this really cute top. It's called the square neck top, and it's just got a square neck. What's great about it is it's made for knits or woven fabrics. It's a front piece, back piece, and facings, so not too much to have to deal with many pattern pieces or anything. It comes in sizes extra small to extra, extra large. And I made the size medium, and it fits perfectly. I made this actually in August, thinking I was supposed to do it for August So Fun last year, and it was the wrong top. So this guy has actually been made and been worn quite a few times since August. This is just a nice little woven kind of a linen sort of fabric, and it works great. It washes great. I do always, always, always pre-shrink all of my fabric that I'm going to make with my clothes with, because I have had issues where it didn't fit after I made it and washed it. So, but it's just a cute little top, goes together really well. I made it a little longer. It's really only a tummy top. It barely comes to the top of my pants. So I made it a little bit longer so I can wear it with all sorts of things, dresses, skirts, pants, everything. It's just a cute little top. Love how it turned out. So then this next project we have is this Yannicka jacket. It's not quite finished. I was finishing up last night and I realized I cut some of the pattern pieces out wrong. So I had to stop and readjust everything. And I decided it's not going to be a good thing to finish this up. So you will see it in person. It's by Liesl & Company, which she has great patterns. I love all of her stuff. Again, this pattern comes from size 0 to 20. So lots of different sizes for you. I made a size 14 and it fits perfectly so far. I used, with both of my patterns, I use Swedish tracing paper to trace out the size I need so that I can keep the whole pattern intact for other sizes if I want to make it again or for anybody else or anything. Again, not too many pattern pieces. You have the front and back. The sleeves are all attached. You have an underpiece on the sleeve, which is kind of interesting. And then facings. And that's it. So it's going together really well. It's 2 scissor out of 4. So just a medium sewing experience required, and you will love this jacket. So I did a few different embroidery projects this month. The first one is 3 Spring Pillows by Emily Scott. There's 3 different ones. A watering can, one with a bunch of tulips and some butterflies, and then one with a little Easter bunny with an egg and some flowers on it. I did the watering can. I just love watering cans. I did the way Lynn always makes her pillows. This is Emily Scott's pattern for the pillows. So you have piping around the edge. Instead of doing cording, it looks a lot better on cottons than trying to do cording. The zipper on the back with a little flap. Perfect way to make a pillow. And the pattern for this, you can also have some tulips and butterflies going around the edge. I didn't do that. I just like this smaller size pillow. The whole thing only took about 40 minutes to sew out. What's great with this is it was like 14 colors, but I was going to meet a friend for lunch. So I put this on my tin needle. I kind of did some magic wanding stuff on the tin needle, got it down to 10 colors, went to lunch, started it, got past this embroidery. This is an applique watering can, got it past this stage, went to lunch, came back, and voila, it's all done. So if you guys have a tin needle or are thinking about getting a tin needle, don't be afraid to leave it. It's awesome. You can just go shopping, go to lunch, go do whatever, come back, and your pillow is done. All you have to do is assemble it. So it says it took 40 minutes. I'm assuming it did because my tin needle ran. I was gone for lunch for quite a while. But I think it just turned out adorable. I just love tulips and watering cans. Just my thing. So cute. So this next embroidery project is by Pickle Pie Designs, and it's just some nice little coasters. And we're just having an issue here. So you make them out of cork. We ordered some cork in for you to make a little wallet, but I got in this very patterned cork, and that would not work so well with my coaster, so I just went to Hobby Lobby and bought some cork. I'm going to show you the difference between Sally Tomato cork and Hobby Lobby cork, but it's not going to be so good on camera, but you'll see it next week at the store. But this design took literally 6 minutes. It took me longer to download the pillow than it did to make this little coaster. If you have a bigger hoop, you could do 6 or 8 of these in one hooping, and it would still not even take you an hour to get them all done. But it's just kind of like appliquing the hoop. You put your cork down first, sews a line around it, you trim the cork away from that line. It sews your initial. They come with the initials on it. Then you add the cork to the back, and you sew it, and you're good to go. I did put a little bit of batting in between there just so it had a little bit more absorbing power. I'm not sure how absorbing cork is, but the batting I think might help a little bit, and it just made it a little fluffy. But this is by Pickle Pie Designs. They're Cutie Pie in the Hoop monogrammed cork coasters. So you could do a set of these, get ready for Christmas. Start now because you're not going to be ready by Christmas anyway. Start now, get them all ready, and no time at all to make these, and not very expensive either. So the difference between Sally Tomato cork and Hobby Lobby cork is this is the back of the Hobby Lobby cork. This is the back of the Sally Tomato cork. This fabric is a lot thicker. You can just feel a difference between the two, and there's nothing wrong with this cork. I would not make a purse with it. It's not going to withstand a lot of use, but it's great for coasters. You know, they're not going to get used a lot. They're not going to get thrown in the wash. They're not going to be, you know, how your purses take so much abuse. But the Sally Tomato cork is so nice. It's just, the feel is so totally different. And then one thing with this Hobby Lobby stuff is you can see it's kind of, it can peel away. So that's why you don't really want to use it so much for a purse. But I did this cute little snappy wallet from Sassafras Lane Designs out of the cork from Sally Tomato. Doesn't take very long at all. It's super, super fast. What's great with the cork is you don't have to finish any of the edges. It's not going to ravel or anything. So you cut out a few pieces, put a zipper across the top of it. And this zipper was probably from the 60s or something because it cost 28 cents according to the package. Put a little snap on the top flap. You have a little pocket here. So you can put this here, a little bit of change inside. It'd be great to add a little strap on it with a clippy. You can clip it onto your belt loop, go running, have a little bit of cash, ID with you. Just a quick little wallet you can easily make in no time at all. You could even personalize this, put an initial up here or on the back. You could get probably, this was a little more challenging because it's directional, but if you didn't use directional cork, you could probably get 4 of these little wallets out of one piece of Sally Tomato cork. Maybe 5, but definitely 4. So, but not with the directional. It kind of messes up directional things and all. If you have any of the Kimberbell embroidery leather, that would make a perfect wallet, snappy wallet also. This stuff would be great for that too. So then we just have a few accessories here on the table. I'm going to show you a few things. Every year, I kind of start the new year with buying a few new supplies. You know, when you're making projects, if you don't finish it all, if it ends up in your UFO bags and whatever, your pins are inside that project. So, and then your pins bend, the heads come off, whatever. So every couple of years, I buy a new pack of pins. These are my favorite. They're quilting pins. There's like 500 of them. They're 1 3/4 long. And you just need to restock your pins every once in a while. And then this is my absolute favorite pin dish. It's magnetic. It's got a super, super strong magnet in it. What's great is if you were to drop it, a lot of the pins will still stay in it. Some will fall out, but then with this magnet, you just zoom it all around the bottom of the floor. It'll grab them all, you pull them off and put it on top. This is the best pin bowl ever. It's a lot stronger than the ones you can get at other stores, but this is great, and it might be time to buy some new pins. And then this is a new item I thought was just so cool. It's a little bobbin accessory organizer. So you put all your bobbins in here. You can put a stylus here, a seam, a tape measure, seam ripper, some pins, some writing pins, your seam ripper, all sorts of things in it, around it. And then all of your tools are handy and in one place. And then the cool little pin cushions, if you have the other round ones, will fit right in the middle here. So I just thought that was a nice little organizer kind of tool that is handy to have in your sewing room. And then this is kind of cute. Not now. It's time for a housework. Did you know that house has housework in the middle of it says sew? Never really realized that either. But just kind of cute little thing. Put on your doorknob. Tell everybody, don't bug me. I'm sewing. And then how many of you have sewn your finger? Raise your hand. Because I did it a few weeks ago. Totally cut off my fingernail. And I did get blood. I kind of pulled it out. And so it still hurts. It's been like 2.5 weeks. It still hurts. So I found these adorable Riley Blake bandages. So these are perfect in your sewing room. I actually ended up just going with the plain Band-Aid. But these Riley Blake ones are just so cute. They have sewing machines on them. It says I love thread. Then a few other things. One of them is some buttons and a tape measure. So just some cute little sewing bandages to keep in your sewing room, because hopefully you won't need them, but just in case, they're handy for you. Okay, that's all. Oh, yeah, that's all of that stuff. So this next book I'm going to show you is, you guys know I love making purses and bags and all that. So this is the Bag Making Masterclass by Samantha Hussey. It has 16 different bags in here you can make, and they are all way cute. It was kind of hard to narrow down what I was going to make. I actually have picked out a fabric for a couple more of them in here. What's nice is in the back, there are all the patterns here. So you don't have to trace them out, download them, pin them together, all of that stuff. They are all actually in the book. So the two that I made are this really cute and adorable Mickey bag, an overnight bag. Look how cool this is. You can put everything in here. Like, it's so big. You can get everything in here. What's nice is this is a pocket. You have a nice zipper pocket here. A big, huge pocket across the back that'll hold so much stuff. This is not going well. A different slider handle, so you can carry it this way, or nice handles this way. These go all the way down the side, so if you overfill this, these handles are not going to rip because they're all the way down inside the bag. And then on the inside, I did add one extra pocket. There's just a big slip pocket on one side where you can get little things on the side. The slip pocket is big enough for like file folders and stuff. On the end of one side is a big pocket that has elastic in it, so you can get a water bottle in there, all sorts of things. On this side, there's a pocket here, just a big slip pocket, a zipper pocket, and then I also added, there's one that has the elastic, the mesh, and the elastic from Annie's in there. So pockets everywhere, double slider zipper, adjustable strap this way or this way. I use Soft and Stable for the main body of the bag. I just used 987 fusible fleece on the gusset part and on most of the pockets. And on the like this little pocket here, I just use SF 101. So it took a little while to make this bag. It's not a fast one because there are so many pockets and pieces to it, but it turned out great. And it wasn't hard. It's just a little time consuming. When you're cutting everything out, label everything and label it like front gusset, inside pocket, outside pocket, because there's so many pocket pieces, you're going to get confused with it. And when I label them, I put like outside pocket, and I put the measurement also just so I know, because this side and this side are really close together. So I put the measurements of everything I cut on my little labels too, so I know what I'm doing when I get to it. So really cute little bag out of that book. Then this next one is my new favorite purse, also out of that book. It's a purse or a backpack. So you can put it like this or slide it down, take your handles off from down here, put them up here, and then you have an over-the-shoulder bag. Love this fabric and this purse. So you got a big pocket on the back side that has a snap on it. So these are really strong snaps. They're by Annie's. You'll be able to get them at the store. And then this part just clips off. And inside you have a couple of pockets. I used, again, Soft and Stable, just did some easy wavy quilting on it. And I kind of did the waves because I bought this fabric, kind of crazy, but on the selvage, it said, always keep a little beach day in your heart. So you guys know me, I love the beach. And I saw that on the selvage of the fabric, and I'm like, I have to have this fabric. So I had enough just barely to make this purse. I'll be able to make a little tiny wallet or something to go with it. But I love how it turned out. I just love the fabric. I love backpacks that you can use also as a purse. Very versatile. But I just think it turned out really cute. So the one issue I had making this bag was hardware. So you guys know it's really hard right now, unfortunately, to get all sorts of things. And hardware for purses seems to be a huge issue right now. So even Annie's by Annie has posted on her website how hard it is for her to get her supplies so she can even ship them to us. So when I was making this bag, it takes four of these little triangle rings and 3 clips and a O ring. And I ordered this really cool kit from Sally Tomato. It's called the Bag Maker's Essential Box, hardware and zippers. So it has 1.5 inch and 1 inch hardware for everything you need. And I ordered it in this, whatever color it is. So I would have everything to make all the bags. Then I changed bags. I changed fabric and I needed different colors. So it has D rings, it has little clippy things, it has bigger clippy things, the sliders for the handles. It has 3 different colors of zipper with all the pulls that you need to go with it. It has everything you need to make your purses. So when I was making this purse, since I decided not to use the hardware color that I had, I went to Hobby Lobby one day. They didn't have any of these silver triangles, and they only had 1 pack of the clip things, swivel clips. Well, I needed 2 packs, and I need 4 of these and this ring. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go to another Hobby Lobby. They didn't have any either. I went to Tree Lotta, which is my favorite place to go. They were out of this size. They only had 1.5 inch. Okay, fine, I can put this away and work on something else. So a couple of weeks later, Tree Lotta called. They had the 1 inch or the 1.5 inch, the 1 inch in. So I went back over there, bought it. I only bought 2 of these. I needed 4. Had to go back over there another day. So of course, every time I go there, I don't buy just this. I end up with like $70 worth of these and fabric, which Teresa's very happy with that, I'm sure. But so if you had this, you will have all of the hardware you need to make this, the big Mickey bag, and a few more bags, and all the zippers you need. So this is like my new best thing in my sewing room. Plus, it's all organized and in one spot. I mean, how good is that? Because all of this little hardware stuff for your purses gets a little crazy after a little while. So this is by Sally Tomato. It's a Bag Maker's Essential Box of Hardware. You can kind of see it a little bit better on the back side. But it's got everything you need to make a ton of bags. Okay, so this next project we have is called Undercover, and it's by Annie's. So I purchased a couple of summers ago a new Bernina, and then we had this adorable Bernina fabric in. And I'm like, oh, we need to make this undercover bag for my new Bernina. What's a friend of mine also has the same machine. And so this is actually her bag. Mine is not quite finished, or not her thing, her cover for her Bernina. So it's the same fabric as I did. She used gray accents. I used red accents. But this is a great project to cover up any of your sewing machines. It comes with directions for 3 sizes, and it tells you how to kind of adjust it in case your machine is a little bit bigger or smaller than any of those 3 sizes. So this fits the Bernina 5 series machines. So what's nice is you have a side pocket here, you have a big slip pocket here, you have this little mesh pocket here, big pocket on the back side for everything. This goes up over your machine, stays closed, so it'll keep it dust free when you're just sitting in your sewing room, or you open it, pull it, your handle up, and take it to classes or wherever you're going. This pocket here is perfect for your foot pedal and everything. This is perfect for your Bernina table that, it'll just slide right in here. And this is perfect for whatever else you need to take, your cords and whatever. And then you can put your books, accessories, and everything in this pocket. So it looks great. I love this Bernina fabric. Unfortunately, we are out of it and not able to reorder any more of it, but you still can find some of it on Etsy. But the pattern is by Annie's. It's called Undercover. We also ordered in all of the mesh and the zippers that you need for it, and the elastic that goes across the top of the mesh. I ordered in red because it just matched everything, but you can get it in tons of different colors, and we can order it in for you any color you need. We ended up going with Pam Damore zippers instead of By Annie zippers because By Annie's aren't even in stock right now with the red. So we have these zippers. They're all the same. It's perfect. Directions on here are great. Annie's has the little tabs so you can cut off, when you cut something out, you cut off these little stickies, stick them onto your fabric so you know what you just cut, so that when you're starting to assemble it, you've got everything labeled and you don't get so confused. And again, you've got like 4 different pockets, so make sure you keep everything labeled. Even when I get this pocket assembled to this fabric, this pocket all assembled, I keep that whole piece together so I know exactly what I'm making until I have it like almost done. It is a little challenging to do her binding because you're working, this is soft and stable in here, and it's 2 layers of fabric with soft and stable. So the binding here is not a big deal. It's just kind of like doing a quilt. But the binding on this is a little challenging to get done, but it's hard. It's not hard. It's just, you have to be careful with it, but it turns out great. It just is a perfect little cover for your Bernina or any other sewing machine that you might have. But I just love it. So adorable. So this next project, Deb, one of our office girls, made for me. It's by OESD, and we will have the designs in the store next week where you can order them online. Is called Celtic Quilting and Luck of the Irish. So the quilting designs are the Celtic quilting, and then the hat and the 4-leaf clover and the pot of gold is Luck of the Irish. So she just did an adorable quilt here. Looks great. The quilting is done all in the hoop. This fabric on the back is just adorable too. But she did a really nice job on it. So these are OESD designs, and you can get them at the stores also. So all of this stuff is available at the store or online. This quilt here is the Fast and Fun 3-yard quilt. So it only takes 3 yards. That does everything you see on the front. The backing is separate. This would be a great quilt for kids to learn how to quilt. It would be a great beginner's quilt. Be a great charity quilt. There are 8 different quilts in this book. They're all just 3 yards. So we ordered in some fabric for you. You get 3 yards of this fabric. When you're making the quilt, you have extras, so you can make a little doll blankie with the leftovers. There's just a little bit of this, a little bit of the background, and just a little bit also of the flower fabrics. The way they have you cut this, you will do your binding totally different than I've ever heard of before. It's a single fold binding instead of double fold. So you kind of fold your binding in half like always, and then you fold one side of it in to the middle. You sew it onto the back with your 1/4 inch seam. Fold it to the front. That part that you ironed over in half, you will just top stitch along this edge here. And that's how you do it. So it's only a single row of fabric here, so it's not quite as strong as a double fold binding, but it gets everything out of here with 3 yards. So that's a nice way to do it if you're running out of fabric. You cut your fabric at 2 inches instead of 2 1/4. It might have been 1 3/4 inches, I forgot. But in the book it tells you what to cut your binding at. But the quilt really took no time at all to make, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, absolute tops. And then I quilted it, binded it, and all done. So super cute, very easy, a great quilt for babies, kids to learn how to sew. Just a great beginner quilt, or if you're really experienced, you want to make a few quilts for donations, this goes super fast, doesn't take tons of fabric, doesn't take tons of time. So great 3-hour quilt, 3-yard quilt book. So this next quilt is called Star Spangled. It's by Running Dough Quilts for Villa Rosa Designs. It's just this little tiny postcard pattern. I love these things. They are great quilts. This would be another great donation quilt. It doesn't take much fabric. It's only 1 1/4 of the blue, 1 1/4 of the red, and 3/4 of a yard of the white, and 1/2 a yard for binding. Really easy quilt to put together. The nice big star just turns out really cool. What's kind of wasteful when you're making this quilt is you're sewing 4 1/2 inch pieces onto this piece here in the middle to make your star points, and then you're cutting out that extra. It's a flip and fold method, so you're cutting off all that extra. So what I did with that extra fabric was, on the back, I did this extra design. I sewed all those pieces. When I cut them, I sewed 1/4 inch where I'm supposed to on the line, drew a line 1/2 inch away from that, sewn on that line, cut in between, and I had these pieces left over. So I sewed them all together and have a nice little accent piece on the back of my quilt. So that just turned out really cool. And then I just did my regular binding thing, so 2 1/4 inch binding, fold it in half, sew it to the back side, flip it to the front, and stitch right along the edge of it. So this would be a great Quilt to Valor quilt. It would be a great donation quilt, not much fabric again, and really fast and easy to make. And I just love the fabric, the colors. One thing with this quilt, since it is bright red and bright blue with white, what I would do when you wash it is get Shout color catchers. I always buy them at Target. I throw 2 or 3 of them. Every time I wash my quilt the first time, I throw 2 or 3 of them in with the quilt. It's amazing how they work. I don't understand it. It's some sort of science thing. It just works well. There will be no red stuff on the white. Even when I was spraying this to iron it all, this red stuff actually bled into part of the selvage, and that was just from the spray bottle I used. So make sure if you're going to use this red fabric that we don't have any more of at the store because I bought it all. But anything this bright with white, you make sure you use, I always throw at least 2 color catchers in. If one's good, 2's going to be great. So throw a couple of color catchers in it, wash it, perfect. Okay, so this is my new favorite quilt. It's called Tiny Town by Pen and Paper Patterns. I love their patterns. They've got some really cute things out right now. I have been wanting to make a quilt with houses forever. So I have been saving up all of these cool house making fabrics. Bricks and more bricks, and this is a thatched cottage. I don't know, rock cottage, different kinds of bricks, some wood. So I've been saving this fabric up forever. They have you use just like 5 or 6 different solid colors. I think this turned out so cute. Everything is scraps except for the background, and this is just a perfect blue batik sky, and I just love the way this quilt turned out. If you follow their directions and just use like 5 or 6 pieces, different colors of fabric, they have you strip piece a lot of it. Since I did everything as, there are no duplicates on any of this stuff. So since everything is individually, no strip piecing could be done. So it took me a little longer to sew it than it would you if you follow their directions. Also, On a few of the, like the flowers, it took a few minutes to figure out. They don't give you all the pieces. They give you sizes if you're cutting big pieces, so you had to do a little bit of math to figure out what size everything was and figure it out. But only a few minutes, got it figured out, no big deal. But everything, I labeled everything when I was cutting it. So there are nine, I call these oak trees, 9 pine trees, 9 flowers, 9 cottages, 9 duplexes, and 9 2-stories. So when I was cutting out my trees, I just labeled tree 1, 2, 3, 4, oak tree 1, 2, 3, 4 through 9. Same with the pines, the flowers. The houses, I didn't want all of my 2 stories to be wood and all of these guys to be the same print or anything, so I just made 18 little tags, cut it up, and just the next one I pulled up was the next flower that was in the pile, so they're all kind of different. It did not take long to make this thing. It only took maybe an hour to make the 9 trees, even less to make these because they are a lot easier. Flowers took a little bit longer, but just because I had to do math and I wasn't in the mood for math. The houses were a piece of cake, except for I lost 2, and then I made them. I made more, and then I found them, and so I might do a pillow with my extra houses. But the quilt itself is just awesome. I love it. It's my new favorite quilt. And then last time I showed you guys how to do binding on your serger. So you use this Floriani fusible thread. You put it in the lower looper only of your serger. I used my left needle, regular thread in the left needle and the upper looper, and Floriani fusible thread in the lower looper. You sew your binding on your quilt onto the front, so the lower looper has the fusible thread on it. It lays down a whole lot of thread on the back here. You flip your binding over, iron it to the back. That fusible thread holds it really well. And then you can stitch in the ditch here on the edge of the front, and it's on the back, and it's perfect. I forgot when I was doing this that it's going to be on this. The sewing on the back side is going to be on the binding, not the quilt, so I should have used a light blue thread here, and I forgot about that when I did it. So I see this blue all the way down it, which is going to drive me crazy, so I know I'm going to have to take that out and redo it. But this is a great way to do quilting, your bindings. You know, it's getting harder to do binding by hand. Takes forever. It's just a kind of a pain. This way works great where you do it from the back, flip to the front, but you do still have that little lip. So if you sew it on the front, flip it to back, use fusible thread on your serger, it turns out perfect. And then we ordered in this new quilt soap. It's by Quilter's Rule. I haven't tried it yet. I am going to try it with this quilt because I dropped it last night in the mushy, snowy, puppy dog, muddy snow, and you can't really see it so much here, but trust me, there are places where there's mud and puppy dog teats. So I'm going to try this Quilter's Rule quilt soap on it. Does great directions on how to use it, and you'll see in the stores after you've seen this video, or before you've seen this video, of how this stuff turned out. But I love my new quilt, and I think it's just great. So we have one more thing to show you. So how many of you read last month's book? Cannot remember the name of it, but Rosemary made the quilt that was the tie, out of ties with it. This is called Running Stitches. It's the second book in the series. The quilt is not quite done. You'll see it at the store after you've seen this video, or before you've seen this video. It's all with half square triangles and quarter square triangles. So big scrappy quilt, which is great. I cleaned up so much scraps between this and this book quilt. But this is a great little story. I'm almost done with it, not quite, but hopefully you're getting the book. You can participate in our book discussion on our Facebook group, Rocky Mountain or RMSB VIP group online, and that's all we have for you. So thanks for watching. We will be back next month, but hopefully you'll all be at the store in person next week. Bye-bye.